Okay, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in the world, be it South Africa, United Kingdom, United States, Lebanon, or Saudi Arabia, in the staff room, just undertaking a little bit of PD. The objective of this video is to condense an hour-long topic that we could all be sat present into 7, 8 minutes. And I'm going to do it enthusiastically, and hopefully you will exit this video feeling energized, enthused, and potentially ready to start brainstorming your own ideas. How we are going to transform our classroom environments rather than seeing our young learners as students, seeing them as people or humans, bringing humanity back into the classroom. What a concept. So, the ideal student, I thought it'd be interesting to put the very definition on the board, satisfying one's conception of what is perfect. Now, if perfection is extremely rare, then why do we seek it in every single young learner that enters our classroom? Now, say we have a classroom of 20, how on earth are we expecting each and every student, various teachers, to sit quiet and obey for 7 periods, and of course comply with the rules and regulations set by the school during break time and lunch and prayer time? Are we teaching robots? Because I thought we were bearing reluctance towards the very topic of AI or robots entering the workplace. Of course, it has a place of its own, but if we are somebody that is reluctant to welcome in AI, then we shouldn't be treating our students as artificially intelligent. So, I know it's artificial intelligence, it's fitting the topic. So, today, what we are discussing is a shift in our classroom, students being people first and not just students. Now, we all have that image of what a perfect student is. Here he is, he's sat just above my video, right here, ready to learn, showing me that he's ready to go. So, they sit up straight, they take notes, and they contribute. They're even focused after 1:30 p.m., just after lunch, when the sun is beating down through the windows and the canteen is still echoing in their ears. But here's the truth: that student doesn't really exist. I say really because if you're a student watching this video, I'm talking about you, and you do exist. So, what does exist are human beings who woke up late, skipped breakfast. Did they skip lunch? Did they have a rough morning? Are they managing silent stress of exams, families, hormones, and family expectations? And then, as an English literature teacher, I get to usher in Franz Kafka. Not what they want. So, potentially see their behaviors as not necessarily disobedient or lazy. They're people. And like all people, they lose focus, feel anxious, or can just be plain bored. Hopefully, not an emotion that you're experiencing right now. So, with that in mind, I'm going to jump over to why this matters. So, human connections. Why is this important? Because when we see them as humans, everything changes. Most importantly, you stop taking things personally. A bad lesson isn't a reflection of you. Potentially, it's the time of day. Was it a poorly planned lesson, or was it just poorly received? It would have been better delivered period one than period seven. So start responding with empathy, not just policies. Seeing behavior as communication rather than the words they're uttering, the posture they're displaying, their facial expressions. Some students were never born to play poker, so use that. If you can see misery in their eyes, we're teachers. Try and make our lessons even more engaging or change it for tomorrow. So, as we begin to build this classroom culture that prioritizes trust over control, we'll have connection over compliance, and we'll get the same results, but it'll be far more enjoyable for both parties. We don't need martial law. So, the last thing I'm going to do is ask you or implore you to lower your expectations. Far from it. It means raising relational expectations alongside our academic ones. Because if we want our students to thrive on stage, in exams, in interviews, they need teachers who respect them, not just as learners, but as a whole person. Now, learning their world, you don't need to download TikTok, but potentially listen into conversations in the corridor, and don't try and be a cool teacher by uttering some of the remarks. Just understand what their interests are and potentially build a lesson around it. We can be creative. We have the assistance of all kinds of platforms to connect their hobbies, their interests, their pastimes to the classroom. But we have to be careful because, of course, there is nothing more uncool than a teacher finding something cool. The global reality. Here's where we want to get our students to. Graduation, not just from our high schools, but university postgraduates. Now, here's the kicker. These students are people and they are growing up in a world where they're expected to compete on the global stage. University applications, internships, leadership roles, you're benchmarked against your peers across continents. So we cannot prepare them for a world if we do not treat them, or if we do treat them like factory outputs, standardized, uniform, emotionless, vacuous, especially the effect that they have on those around them. But whose fault was that? Could we have played a role in preventing that? So, because the world doesn't need quiet compliance, it's our job to instill resilience, creative, critical thinkers, honoring their humanity, not shunning it. So, yes, hold the standard, push for growth, but do it with a bit of compassion, do it with flexibility. Remember that every student in your class is someone's child, someone's whole universe. And more importantly, they are a whole human being in themselves. So, teaching humans and not just content. I would start my lessons, sacrifice 30 seconds. We have 45-minute periods. So 44 minutes and 30 seconds worth of teaching, for that 30 seconds of connection. Now, designing lessons for attention spans, not just curriculum coverage. Because if we design them for curriculum coverage, how much is going to be absorbed? How beneficial is your unit going to be if there is no accommodation for or consideration of attention spans? Learning a little bit about their lives. Can we integrate music that they're listening to? Or if, inverted commas, music, although every generation would say that. I'm sure teachers and leaders, senior to myself, are watching this thinking, yes, Harry, we think the same of your music. But, of course, we all work together, regardless of our age. So just being aware of it, you don't need to enjoy it. Just know what culture dictates as fashionable or worthy of our attention. And finally, show quiet grace. If they're late, were they asking their previous teacher a wonderful question? Were they trying to catch up? Is there a problem that they have? And are you going to compound that with an interrogation? Instead of asking them, is everything okay? Or what happened? Interrogating them with, what's wrong with you? Why are you unable to arrive on time? Because all you're doing there is severing a potential relation and contribution. Because I guarantee nobody watching this video wants to be asked, are you incapable of arriving on time? Nobody is going to respond positively. It just depends on the person you're saying it to and whether they decide to sit quietly or spit back with venom and vitriol. But it's certainly not constructive, it's destructive. So, thank you very much for listening. I hope that this has benefited you even in a small manner, that you can begin the academic year with, here come my students, or here come my people, my humans. And changing expectations, getting creative with our curriculums to ensure that more sticks, more is absorbed, and the critical thinkers that we strive for as IB teachers, as Common Core State Standard teachers, well, we're putting our expectations into practice. We're demonstrating our love of our job through the creation of marvelous young entrepreneurs, critical thinkers, and world changers, world beaters. If you want, add anything else in the comment. Let's spread some positivity because we're coming towards the start of the year. We need to start fresh, energized, and enthusiastic. So I'll leave you with that. Have an awesome rest of your day and see you in season 2, episode 2.